Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the hybrid pack from Here and Now, which is a really interesting 25-liter expandable tech, everyday carry, and minimal travel bag. And this is a company that seems to be a little bit newer to the bag game. I hadn't really heard about them before, but after they reached out to see if I wanted to test one of their bags out, I looked through the site and this one seemed to offer some really interesting features. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience using this over the past couple of weeks. I'll show you how I've loaded it out, talk about all the different things that it can do. But before jumping into the video, I want to thank the company for sending the bag for me to test out. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel, we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the outside of the bag, I really like the overall aesthetic. This has a pretty techy and futuristic vibe that reminds me a little bit of bags from companies such as Nomadic and Black Ember. It's a vibe that overall I feel is going to work well in a lot of different environments, whether you're exploring a city, taking this into the office, or for traveling. As far as the materials, the bag feels pretty well built. On the exterior, you have a 900D fabric that's made out of recycled single-use plastics. I also like that it has this kind of tarpaulin and DWR coating to give you some extra weather resistance. Then you have Woojin hardware and some nice YKK zippers all throughout. Continuing along the outside of the bag, on the front you just have a pretty subtle logo from the company down at the bottom. I like that it's blacked out to kind of blend in with the rest of the bag. And then you have compression straps on each side, which are going to allow you to attach items such as a jacket or a tripod while traveling. I like how easy it is to open these buckles up. And it also helps kind of keep the bag a little bit more compressed and slimmer when you don't have it as packed out. On the exterior, you also have a nice handle on the side, which is going to allow you to carry this like a duffel bag or a briefcase if you don't want to wear the bag on your back. This handle offers a decent amount of cushioning, it feels rugged, and I like that it doesn't stick out too much from the side of the bag, so it still just keeps a pretty clean overall look. At the top of the bag, you have another handle, which is going to be good for just picking the bag up and down off the ground. It's also going to allow you to hang it. This one, is not super thick or padded like the one that we saw on the side, but it feels rugged enough that it's not going to tear when you're carrying or hanging the bag up. Moving into the capacity, the bag comes in at about 25 liters, which is a really versatile and useful size in my opinion. It's able to hold all the items that I like to carry with me on my day-to-day without feeling too big, but it still provides some extra capacity if I have to have some additional items with me. And I like that even when the bag is a little bit more packed out, it maintains a pretty slim silhouette, making it great for navigating crowded areas, jumping onto public transit, and carrying onto many domestic and international airlines. And then a really nice thing about this bag is that you actually have the ability to expand it out to 31 liters, which we'll take a closer look at later in the video. So if you wanted to use this for a longer trip, or if you just have some bulkier, larger items that you need to carry with you, this bag should be able to handle them pretty well. Taking a look at the straps and the back paneling, so far the bag has been pretty comfortable to wear. These straps have a decent amount of padding, but they've been a little bit stiffer than what I normally like to use. I'm hoping that they'll break in and get a little softer over time. On the inside, I did like that they have this meshy, breathable material to help prevent moisture from building up. And then they also have a nice width to help prevent the bag from digging into my shoulders when it's a little bit more packed out. On the straps, you also have a nice simple zippered compartment, which is going to be a good spot to put something like a transit card, maybe if you're taking the subway. And then you also have an adjustable sternum strap to help distribute the weight. And then down at the bottom of the straps, you have some clips that are going to allow you to stow the straps away if you're carrying this like a duffel bag or a briefcase, or if you just want to kind of prevent any sort of snags when you're placing this into an overhead storage compartment. So I like how easily you can unclip the straps, and you have a little slot at the top that allows you to tuck these away and keep them safe when they're not in use. And then moving into the back paneling, this has actually felt a little bit more comfortable than the straps. I really like the padding that's been included here. It's a little bit softer, but it still has the same meshy and breathable material that we saw on the straps. I also like that there's a little bit of elevation here to create some air channels to provide you with airflow and ventilation while you're walking around throughout the day. So really nice implementation here. While we're on the back paneling, a few additional things I want to call out. First up, at the bottom, you have an additional handle similar to the one that you had on the top. I like when bags have these types of handles on both the top and the bottom to make it a little bit easier to stow the bag into an overhead storage compartment. And then you also have this hidden zippered compartment, which is going to be a good spot to store something like a passport, a thinner wallet, or some extra cash. And it's nice that because this sits right up against your back, it's going to be really hard for pickpockets to get to. And then the last feature I want to call out while we're on the back paneling is you have this luggage pass-through, which is secured with some Velcro on the inside to kind of keep it closed when it's not in use. But then this is also going to allow you to place this on your luggage handle while you're traveling to save some weight on your back. Jumping into the organizational options, there is a ton of pocketing all throughout the bag. I really like the variety of pockets that have been included. On the exterior, you have some zippered quick access pockets starting on the side. This is what I would think is kind of a water bottle pocket. It's a little bit smaller than I was hoping. It has, a nice zipper that makes it very easy to actually reach into this compartment when you need to. Currently, I just placed a little headlamp into here. This might also be a good spot for an umbrella. And you may be able to place kind of a Zephyr Hills or Dasani smaller plastic water bottle into this compartment, but I wasn't able to fit the 20-ounce water bottles that I normally like to use, which I was a little bit sad by. Another thing to note about this compartment is that the volume actually eats up space from the inside of the bag. You can see just how deep this compartment can go. So it's nice that it's a separate area. So if you place something wet or something spills, it should, stay away from the rest of the bag, but still just something to keep in mind as you're packing the bag out. And then on the front of the bag, you have two simple zippered quick access pockets. And I like that they have two different orientations, which is really great, particularly because this bag can be used both as kind of a duffel briefcase style bag and as a backpack. Different orientations are going to make it easier to access the pocket depending on how you're holding it. So when you're holding this like a briefcase, this compartment here on the front with this kind of vertical orientation is going to be great, so you can easily reach in and grab any accessories that you might have in here. Currently, the only thing that I placed into this pocket is a lightning cable and a power brick to charge my tablet and my phone, but you still have plenty of space. It's actually a pretty tall compartment, so I might have also been able to place something like a notebook or some boarding documents. And then next to that, we have another zippered quick access pocket. I also like that these have the flaps coming over to help add some additional weather resistance. And this is going to be a great pocket when you're using this like a backpack and it's standing up to be able to reach down and grab whatever you need. So in this pocket, I did actually place a full-size moleskin notebook. You can see that that fits in there pretty well. It's a fairly deep compartment, so if you have pouches, gloves, anything that you need to get to quickly, you're going to be able to reach it. Again, I don't have a whole lot of stuff in either of these compartments just because there's so many different pockets all throughout, but really nice to have these to be able to grab whatever you need quickly, particularly while traveling. And then at the top of the bag, you have one additional quick access pocket. This one may be my favorite as far as being able to easily reach the items that I grab the most during the day. You have a decent amount of space in here, even for something a little bit bulkier. In this case, the main item that I have here is my Ray-Ban sunglasses with their case. On the inside of this compartment, you also have an interesting little pouch. So one of the cool things about Here and Now as a company is that they place a lot of focus on mindfulness and kind of disconnecting from technology and being able to be calm and relax. And so one of the thoughts behind having this pouch here is this is actually a signal blocking pouch. You can place your phone inside of this compartment and then roll it up. And once you do that, it's going to prevent any sort of Wi-Fi or other, cellular signal from coming through. So it'll block out any notifications if you want to be a little bit more disconnected while you're walking around or just focused. It's nice that you kind of have the ability to do so. I mean, of course, you could always place your phone into airplane mode, turn it off, but putting it into this sort of pouch provides you that extra layer of friction that might help somebody disconnect if you're really attached to your phone, as I tend to be. So I've experimented with this a little bit, and so far it's been a pretty interesting idea. It does take up a little bit of space in this compartment if you're not using it, but you can just kind of roll it up and place it underneath the other items that you have in here. And then on the flap of this compartment, you have one additional mesh zippered pocket to help give you some organization and separation here for smaller items. So in this case, I just placed my Apple AirPods Pro, but this might also be a good spot for something like your keys or a multi-tool. The next area that we're going to be taking a look at is the laptop compartment. And so you have an interesting feature here in this combination lock that's going to help add some additional security to your device, particularly while traveling. You can update the combination when you receive the bag. I just have 000 now, as it's sent to you by default. One thing that I did notice about this lock is that it can be kind of tricky to use if you have the bag fully expanded out. I feel like there's a lot of pressure and tension here, so I'd be worried about this getting damaged after prolonged use if you have the bag expanded to its 31-liter capacity. But still a nice security feature. I think the thought here is also that, to help provide that layer of friction to separate from your devices, keeping that theme of mindfulness. For me though, this lock has worked nicely. I don't always close it up, particularly if I'm accessing my laptop a lot, but when I do want to get to it, I like that it releases very quickly and easily. And then you have a side access zipper for the laptop. On the inside here, you have plenty of space for up to a 15 or 16 inch laptop. Currently what I have here is my 13-inch MacBook Pro. You can see there's plenty of leftover space at the top, and there's a decent amount of padding in this compartment. Unfortunately, it's not really suspended off the bottom of the ground. The materials of the bag do provide some padding at the bottom, so if you place your bag down, it's not going to be too bad, but I do wish that there had been either a little bit of suspension or just some extra padding at the bottom to give me some additional peace of mind. On the inside of the compartment, you have this sleeve that has a little bit of padding that helps divide the compartment out if you want to place your laptop and your tablet in here. If you have a larger tablet, this might be a good place to store it. In my case, I just have my laptop in here, so I'll go ahead and pull that out. Now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside, so no sort of fleece lining, but it does come up a decent amount to allow you to store a thicker device if you need to, or you should have space to store the two devices that I mentioned earlier. So even though the compartment isn't as suspended as I would have liked, it still offers enough padding that it feels like my device is going to be well protected while I'm running around throughout the day. Moving back to the front of the bag, we have a larger kind of admin area that has some nice internal organization, and I really like how low these zippers come down to allow you to easily access the full volume of this compartment. But I also like that it has these gussets to prevent this flap from opening up completely and potentially spilling all of your items out accidentally when you're trying to reach in. So really nice kind of flexibility offered there. And then on the inside, you have a variety of slip pockets starting on the back here. I really love the depth and the material of these compartments. You can see that it's kind of an elastic material that's going to mold around the items that you have, so you can store some bulkier items, but it's also going to kind of help keep them in place. And with the items that I have in these compartments, on the right I have the remote for my DJI Mavic Mini. You can see this is a pretty large item and it fit in there easily. Next to that, similarly sized compartment, I just tossed in my GoPro Hero 3 Plus. And then moving down towards the bottom of the compartment, you have the same type of pockets. So in this one here at the bottom, I have my BluePod portable Bluetooth speaker and power bank. And then next to that, I have a little tin that has some Band-Aids and ointment. So really love this simple layout, very effective for holding any types of chargers or other items that I might need to carry with me. And then on the flap, you have some additional organization. First up here on the bottom, you have kind of a padded and fleece lined sleeve, which is going to be a great spot to store something like a tablet, which is what I currently have here. I have my iPad mini, which fits in there pretty comfortably. A larger tablet I think could fit standing up. Of course, then it's not going to have the full protection of the fleece linings, but for me, for this iPad mini, it's kind of a perfect fit. And then moving up, you have some smaller organization for those little EDC items that you might need to carry with you. So I have a little lanyard with a plastic clip where I've attached my Gerber shard. Behind that, you have a slip pocket where you could probably tuck the keys or multi-tool that you have attached here if you wanted to, so it's not flopping around. But in my case, I actually wanted to go ahead and use that to store a deck of cards that I like to have with me. And then on the front here, you just have a variety of smaller compartments for something like a pen. You have 2 slots for pens or styluses, and then these interestingly sized slots. I'm not entirely sure what you can use these for. I use this for a flashlight. I can definitely see myself putting like a pocket knife here, maybe a memory card. So nice variety of pockets there that you don't have to use if you don't want to. They kind of stay out of the way. And then next to that, the last compartment that you have here is another zippered pocket. It's nice to have this zippered one so that, if you have something a little bit more sensitive that you want to keep hidden, you can place it in there. Smaller items, they're not going to fall out accidentally. In this case, the only thing that I have here is my Apple Magic Mouse. And then before diving into the main compartment, the last pocket I want to call out on the outside is this separate shoe compartment on the bottom. I like that it has these little holes to provide with ventilation and drainage for the compartment. You have a decent amount of space here for a variety of sizes of shoes. Currently, I wear an 11.5, and the shoes that I have here are just some simple kind of Converse style sneakers. I think I would have been able to place maybe a thinner pair of running shoes, but of course, as with many of these shoe compartments, they do end up taking up volume from the inside of the bag, so you have to keep that in mind as you're packing. I also like that you can actually pull this lining out as you see here, so that you can allow this to dry out or just be cleaned after carrying a pair of shoes over a longer trip. And then the last area that we're going to be taking a look at is the main compartment. And this has a suitcase style opening for easier packing. And I like, the layout of this compartment. You have some internal organization placed in here as well. So some extra pocketing, just so many pockets in general all throughout the bag. So on the flap here, you have two larger mesh compartments. I like that these again have that material that kind of just expands and compresses around the items that you place in here. So this is going to be an awesome spot to put some toiletries, maybe a laptop charger, some medicines, maybe some underwear and socks. If you're not using packing cubes, you have a lot of flexibility with what you can store here. I only placed a little manicure set in here. I generally don't like to put anything too bulky in this middle section, as it creates just bulges that make it a little bit more difficult, in my opinion, to close the bag. So I left these emptier. You have another similar compartment on this flap that separates the main compartment where you might have all of your clothes from the rest of the bag. So again, just another simple zippered compartment that you might want to access without opening the full bag up. And then when you're ready to get into your travel items, into the main section of the bag, it has this zipper that opens up this compartment. So you have this divider that you can use to separate these items out, maybe compress everything down a little bit. Right now, I have the bag expanded to its full 31-liter capacity. I packed it out as I would for more of a minimal travel trip for a longer weekend, maybe even up to a week with the items that I have in here. So I was surprised that I was able to place my packing cube setup, shoes, and then many of the EDC items that I normally like to use with me. So nice amount of space in this larger area of the bag. Jumping to what I have here, I currently have just a simple dot kit from Air. I have my larger double-sided and compressible packing cube that has my shirts and pants. Down at the bottom, I have an additional compressible packing cube from Nomadic. And then you can see on the inside, that's all I had in there. At the bottom of the bag, you have some compression straps that are actually included if you want to use these to kind of push everything down or keep everything in place, particularly if you're not using packing cubes, if you're just kind of rolling your clothes and placing it in here. This might be helpful. In my case, just kept it attached and left it at the bottom of the bag, as I felt like it might be tough to kind of get it over all of the items that I had in here. And then with the compartment empty, you can see the volume that all of the other pockets of the bag might take up from this area. So here we have the shoe compartment that I showed earlier, and then you have the little pocket that I said could work as maybe a water bottle or an umbrella pocket, and then you have the top quick access pocket. And when these are all filled up, you can see they take up a decent amount of space from this area. But a nice thing is that some of these compartments you can actually roll up when you're not using them. So the shoe compartment in particular, as it takes up a lot of space and can kind of clutter this area, you can roll it up, and then there is this little elastic Velcro strap at the bottom that's going to help keep it out of the way when it's not in use. So that's a nice way to just kind of give you some flexibility with what you can store and still maintain kind of an organizational system in this compartment and not feel like you just have a ton of stuff in here. And then you can do the same with this divider flap. If you don't want to use this as a travel bag, or you just kind of don't want that extra step of unzipping it and zipping it up, or when you're using this as a daily bag, this might not be as valuable. You can again roll this out of the way. You have this Velcro strap, and then again you just have a little bit of a simpler layout for the bag. And this is particularly useful when you want to use this as a daily bag. In my case, as I mentioned, this is expanded out, but after arriving at my destination, or if I just wanted to use this for my normal day-to-day to go to work or a coffee shop, it has this zipper that goes all the way around the bag. And once you zip it up, you take the bag back down from the 31-liter capacity to 25 liters, which to me, as I've mentioned in many other videos, is a really just nice size that can still work without feeling too big. You also have the compression straps on the sides, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to just compress it down a little bit more. And now with the bag compressed down and all of the pockets kind of out of the way, I can load this up with more of my EDC items. I could throw in my Levitate portable standing desk, some of my tech pouches, maybe my drone. I can close this up, and then I'm ready for a day out on the town. So I really love the flexibility provided by the expansion and all the different organizational options that have been included with the bag. I think it looks great, it feels durable, and if you're looking for something stylish that you're gonna be able to use for your everyday or minimal travel, then this is gonna be a great option to check out. And so to wrap up, it's been a pretty good experience testing out the hybrid pack over the past couple of weeks, and you can currently purchase this on the company's site starting at about $120. I think that's the regular price. I've also seen some sales that have brought the price down to about $100, which to me feels like really reasonable prices considering the features and the build quality that this has to offer. It compares well to other similar bags in this price range, and if you use the link that I've included in the description below, you can get 10% off your purchase. And so as I was testing this out, this definitely reminded me of many of the other hybrid bags that we featured on the channel in the past. The first one being, of course, the Nomadic Travel Pack, which is one of the ones that I've used the most over the past couple of years. It's just got such a huge feature set. It can work well as a daily carry bag, as a minimal travel bag. I believe it expands from 20 to 30 liters. It has a clamshell style opening, lots of organization, good laptop protection, a comfortable harness system, very similar to this one in the fact that it just offers a lot and is gonna work well in a lot of different scenarios. That one is gonna come in at a little bit of a higher price point. I know they've improved the build quality on the travel pack, since the version that I purchased. So it has YKK zippers, it has a really durable exterior, a little bit of an updated look, removable waist belt, just a lot of flexibility. And if you're looking for a versatile bag that's gonna be in this category, that's gonna be a good one to consider. The next bag this made me think of is the Knacpack Series 2, which we looked at earlier this year, and that was a fantastic update to Knac's already great lineup of expandable bags. They are some of the ones that do it best. Their bags always shock me with how much they can expand. They compress down really small into a 20-liter size that works great for day to day, and then they can expand past the 30-liter range, so it really makes a very solid long-term travel bag. They have excellent organization. The look of the Knack bags is also a little bit more in the professional sphere. It's the type of bag that I like to wear with a nicer outfit or for business travel. So if you're looking for something that has this type of flexibility, but that's gonna have maybe a little bit more of a professional look, then that's gonna be a great option to consider. Another bag this made me think of is the Black Ember Forge. It's probably the one that it reminded me of the most, as they have a similar kind of techie aesthetic, very weather resistant materials. The Black Ember Forge also expands and compresses. It has a great organizational layout. That one to me feels more like a bag that's meant to be used as a briefcase or a messenger, just with the orientation of all of the pockets. But it just feels like a very solidly built bag. It's probably one of the most weather resistant that I've tried out, especially as far as expandable bags. It has a comfortable harness system. It's gonna be in a little bit of a higher price range than this, but if you're looking for something that has a little different organizational layout, then it might have a slightly more solid build quality, and I think that's gonna be one of the best options that you can take a look at. And then the last option that I'll mention here is the Wandered Provoke, which doesn't have the same type of expansion. That's actually a roll top bag, but it does have a flexible volume that's gonna allow you to compress it down when you don't need to carry as much with you, and expand when you have a little bit more if you're traveling. That bag is offered in a variety of sizes to kind of meet your needs. So if you want something a little bit more daily carry focused, you can get that. And they also have larger versions now that are gonna work for longer term travel. I don't like the aesthetic of those bags quite as much as this one, but where those bags shine is in their ability to manage camera gear. You have quick access via the side pocket. They have camera cubes that are gonna allow you to organize all of your stuff. And they have great weather resistance and durability. I've had many Wandered bags over the years and they've held up great. So if you're somebody who has to carry a lot of camera gear and you wanna make sure it's protected and still have a lot of flexibility and comfort, and then those are gonna be some of the best options that you can check out as well. With that being said, the hybrid pack from Here and Now holds up really well against all those bags, and if you're looking for a durable and flexible bag that's gonna offer plenty of space, organization, and come in at a pretty reasonable price point, then this is gonna be a great option to take a look at. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys think of the hybrid pack and how it compares to some of the other great expandable bags that we featured on the channel. And if there are any similar options that you think I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank the company again for sending the bag for me to test out, and to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.